Okay, so this is my last thing with Raiden. One of the things we didn't talk about is how we did buffered images. So how to actually draw images. So I'll do that before we talk about different types of images. These are some things that we import when we want to do images. What are we importing? A class called buffered image, files, exceptions that go with files. And so I make an image and I say my hero's going to have an image. It's a buffered image and it's called hero image. And right now it's actually nothing. I think I don't need to assign it to null. I can just go like this. So I load the image in my constructor at the start of the game. See this try and catch? And this is a good example of why tries and catches are made. Tries happen when Java or the coding language decides that this has a high chance of erroring. Loading an image has a high chance of erroring because the image might not be there. So it says, well, let's just, we don't want to crash. Why don't you tell me what to do if I can't find the image? And so try to load the image. And if you can't, I shut the game down. We could just proceed, okay? And like some games will say, well, if you can't find the image, just draw a red square. And that's why sometimes you'll load a game and it'll be a little weird. You didn't find the image. I'm just exiting. System.exit1, okay? So that's simple. Sometimes actually what I do is I'll just make this one line. And the reason why I make it one line is, really, that's pretty simple code, right? And it's taking an inordinate amount of my code. Or I'll make a function called load images and move it over there so I don't have to look at it, okay? So the only other thing is I'm drawing the image right here where I used to do a g.fillRect. I'm actually g.drawImage, image name, width, or XY width height. So if you want some better marks, what you might do is do an image for the background, do an image for the lasers, do some images for the enemies. The only thing left is once you do that, it might be a little flashy and glitchy. What we'll do in our next assignment is I'll show you how to draw once to the screen, and that's called double buffering or even triple buffering. In real games, what they do is they triple buffer, and so when they're drawing and moving things, they're moving it in RAM. They're not moving it on the screen. We're moving on the screen because we're writing directly to the screen. But you probably won't notice. If you do notice your game's a little bit of flashy, it's because we're not double buffering, and we'll cover that in our next assignment. Anyways, I wanted to talk about how enemies should have a type. Okay, and I'm going to make a simple type. So I'm going to say our enemies, each enemy has a type, int type equals 0. Okay, and so let's decide, I'm going to comment off what the different types are. 0 is a red enemy that moves down. Okay, now I was actually thinking I was going to make an enemy that moves randomly, or like teleports, or an enemy that kind of heat seeks. What would be what do you guys want to see? Teleport, heat seeks, random. Heat seek? Raise your hand for heat seek. Raise your hand for teleport. Okay, we're doing heat seek. Okay, 1 is a blue enemy that heat seeks. Okay? So really, everything still works. Nothing's changed because it doesn't mean look at type 1, right? But I'm going to have to start saying if the type is 1, right? Do something differently. So, move is going to get called regardless. This is where I paint the enemy, right? The only difference is I'm actually going to go if e1.type equals 1. Actually, I was going to do that, but now I don't need to do it because I'm just going to change the color when I change the type. You see that? So when I change the type, and we'll get to that soon, I'm going to change the color, but we should make sure that everyone has their own color because there might be more than one enemy who are different types of enemies on screen, right? So previously I was just setting one color. But if we have different types of enemies on screen, each one's going to have a different color. Okay? We still haven't changed the type. in the last one I talked about a respawn, and this is what's nice about the respawn. Remember, we had like 5 spots that we were respawning. What's nice about the respawn is I can put the code type, the change type code in one spot now, instead of duplicating it in different ones. And I might say, once you hit score 10, right? And I'm gonna do this, and score is less than 11. All right. You go. Yeah. So what is this? What does the number have to be? Greater than 10 and less than 12? Has to be 11. Or I could put an equals and say less than 11, and now the score has to be 10. So when the score is 10, something's going to happen, right? Or I could just go score is equal to 10. If the score is equal to 10, we're going to change enemy the type to 1. We're going to change our color to color.blue. Okay? So when we get to 10, our enemies change. Now I've changed the color and it should work. Have I changed the movement? No. Right? So in the move code right here, I've got this old way of moving. What type is this? What type moves like this? Type 1 or type 0? See, type 0 is red and it moves down. This is code that moves down. So let's say if type equals 0, we're going to move like that. If type equals 1, we're going to move totally differently. So how are we going to move differently? I said we're going to do a heat seeking. We should probably still go down, right? But our x is going to be a little bit of a heat seeking, right? So we might say if x is less than hero.x, x gets x minus 1. I might put an else here because I don't want both of them happening. So this is like pretty good heat seeking. It might be too good, and if it's too good, I might actually use a random number to say, well, you're not always going to do it. Okay? Let's see. So before I had my respawn code to say greater than equal to 10, I don't want to force myself to get to 10, so I'm going to change it to 5 just to play the game. If I go run, let's see what problems I have. Hero cannot be resolved to a variable. Oh, h.x. One too many equal signs. I think we're good to go. Okay, when I get to score 5, they should begin. Oh, nice. Okay, it looks to me like they're not heat seeking, they're actually going away. Let's try again. Oh, yeah. Oh, this gets way too hard. So this becomes way too hard. So a couple things. Notice I didn't do the respawn up here, so I probably need to do it so that it respawns. I'm going to ask the class, how can I make these heat seekers not so hard? What are some ideas? Anyone got an idea? See, it's tough because I'm adding 1. I can't make the number smaller, right? Yep. Make it delayed. Yeah, I could do that. You know what probably the easiest thing I'm gonna do? I could also change the speed when they respawn. Like maybe they move down. Like notice here I said if score is less than 5, I can change the speed. Y speed equals 1. Or what's down? Down is 1. Okay, yeah. So now they won't come down as quick as the red ones. So sure they still come, but see, no, 1's pretty slow. I can use a random number, just a % chance, and this is like rolling a dice. So I might say int chance equals math.random times 100. So this is a random number between 0 and 100, right? And now I might say, you know what, I only want you to heat seek, I don't know, 30% of the time. If chance is less than 30, then do that, because you can't heat seek all the time. It's too hard on the person. And now I can really, and I can massage the numbers to do it. And one of the most important things is I want you to learn is get to tabbing. Look at the way these tabs are ugly. All that is inside the chance, so I'm going to go tab. Notice this heat-seeking behavior only happens if chance is less than 30. So 30% of the time it will heat-seek, but every time it respawns. That's why it's not in there. Okay, if I go run, might work better. Maybe 30% is not enough. Yeah. Still too much. Let's do it one more time. I just want to make sure I don't give you code that's bugged. Let's go 10. It ticks quite a bit, so even 10% is a lot. Yeah, you can see that it's not, that's actually quite good, right? It's coming, but it's not coming. Maybe the best number might be 15, depending on how hard you want it to be done. So that's how we have different types, and we could have like 10 types, right? And all that is inside my class. I have a type, I would change it, and my movement is depending on the type. And the respawn at each one will do it. Any questions?